What's up? Hey, we haven't done a live in markets open since like Cookie back in September, I think. Maybe. Does that sound right? But anyway, we're here. Hey, it's GP, it's Bags, and it's our long lost little puppy, Nick, JFDI. He's been gone for what seems like ages. But hey, Nick,
Hey,
welcome back.
hey, thanks. Glad to be back. Glad
Just
to be back.
kicking the bull market right square in the teeth.
Yeah, honestly, I like, you guys probably well aware, I was skiing with my kids, and I obviously brought my laptop and my iPad and stuff with me, but for the most part, I kind of just threw trail stops and and just let everything ride,
You
and
didn't get stomped out on too much.
nothing, nothing. Actually, I take that back. I took a little bit of a I wasn't too thrilled with Snow's gap down, but it is what it is.
It was a great buying opportunity for people wanting to get long.
For sure. It's just I don't know. I wanted it higher.
Well, of
Yeah,
course, we
I
always
do
want it
agree.
higher.
I think this where it's at right now. It's just basically retesting the breakout, sitting on the 200 day. I agree. I think it's a great spot.
GP, who could have called it? I mean, who could have said we were just going to continue to ratchet higher?
I mean, we've
November
only been talking
14th.
about it since we broke out last year.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought this would have happened?
I
Five
believe
twelve
I
right
believe
now
we
on the SPY and QQQ at 446.
do you remember our conversation last year, or was it 2 years ago, where we weren't in a downtrend anymore? We were
Yep.
flat.
Yeah.
Um, that conversation like comes on for me quite often, is like trying to recognize what the markets is doing, right? Ultimately, we were sideways at that point for a year and inherently worse news. So what was your thought process? Everyone thought it was going to break down. I'm pretty sure it was like 97% of the people out there who thought it was going to break down. And I'm like, no, we just haven't broken out. We were just basing, right? And you're basing at some really, so it always reminds me of that conversation. And then we've talked about it. We talked about November lockout rally. And if you don't call it, like, I'm not saying everything is participating. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the markets are not giving you an opportunity to get in. And um, you have to take higher risk, right? Ultimately, it's like, oh, well, this is extended. What am I doing? And trailing stops are your friend. But
Yeah, we had a pretty heated pod one night, I think, and I was still arguing we're still in a downtrend, and you were arguing we're just sideways, and I was like, well, we haven't gone higher, and then within a couple weeks we went higher, and it was a complete about face at that point because now it's like, all right, we've broken the downtrend. I put the downtrend line on the Q's chart here, but I don't know. For weeks on end, you and I were arguing that is this a downtrend? We're just going sideways, whatever. Like
it was my
from
argument with everyone, and I'm like, you're wrong. And
well, potato.
and so far proven right, right? Tomorrow can be the double top. I mean, Monday can be the double top, and this all ends the game. I'm not saying that, but if you're looking underneath, if you're looking at some of these moves, then in my opinion, we're still in a shallow pullback, grind higher, move higher kind of market. Maybe that changes tomorrow. I mean, Monday, and I got egg on my face, but right now we're looking at things starting to break out, right? Like, and the things that even haven't participated aren't even there. But dude, so like the number one thing I noticed yesterday was Amazon monthly closing high, right? All-time high. That is broader participation one by one as they go through these, right? So you can talk about all these things that are not participating, but no one's talking about the things that are participating, and all they're referring to is Mag 7. And Forget
Or
your Mag 7.
Yeah.
There's only Mag 2, and it's NVIDIA and Netflix. There is no Mag 7 here, right? Netflix is what, 260% off that bottom, and obviously NVIDIA is NVIDIA, but Apple's barely participated, Amazon's barely participated,
AMD. Huh.
but that was never part of FANG, right?
No, of course, yes, it's on Mag 7.
It's
Sorry.
it's its own beast, right? I'm not saying
How was Intel holding up against AMD these days?
garbage, right?
Oh man, that's tough luck.
I know, but you were wrong in June. You were right.
You say this all the time. It's time frame. It's time frame. Time frame. GP.
We talked about it in June, saying that Intel into the end of the year will outperform AMD, and I'm pretty sure it did.
All right, we'll check the tape.
Yeah,
but we have been on. Well, let's go back to the hues. We've just been on this grind higher, and you get some little ebbs and flows. But every single red candle that you can see on this chart has been met with, we're going back down, we're breaking something. It's so much fear and pessimism. And I think we've entered the stage of the wall of worry, right? Like shorts and bears get overzealous on every little pause, and then they get blown out of the water. AMD is a perfect example. Like we talked about this, what, 3 weeks ago, GP? Like we love this setup, and all it did was just hold the prior all-time highs to just launch right out of there.
The only thing that was frustrating with AMD is just that it wasn't necessarily participating with the rest of the SMH.
Sure.
So like when the rest of
that's normal rotation though, right?
Yeah.
They don't blast it. It's a Mag 7 conversation. They don't blast them all at the same time. They rotate through it, which is inherently extremely bullish, right? It's not just AMD. Look at Broadcom, right? Broadcom was relaxing while NVIDIA took the reins. And now look what it's doing. It tested the top of the box here. And look at the candle in Broadcom today.
Zach in the chat brought up Meta. Yes, we
Meta,
would be
yes, good
remiss
point.
to not bring up Meta. Meta was did Meta bottom before Netflix did, or was it about the
Netflix
same time?
was the first to bottom. It's the bull market leader. Bottomed in May 2022.
I just wanted to get you fired up, GP. That's all.
It worked.
Bull market fucking leader, dude.
I just wanted to get you fired up, GP. That's all. But Meta has performed incredibly. We can't forget Meta.
Yeah, my bad. I forgot about Meta, but you have a handful of names that are hundreds of percents off the bottom in the Mag 7 group, and it's Meta, it's NVIDIA, and it's Netflix.
Hey, thanks for all the new subscribers. We really appreciate that. That's awesome. Thanks, Marvin Thomas and Yonder Jander. Sorry if I butchered your name, and Zach in the chat right now. So we appreciate you guys. Thanks for hitting the like and subscribe. That's very generous of you.
Are there questions out there in the chat as well? If you have any, we'll try to.
What's up, Jason? Happy Friday to you too. No, there's no questions yet. Zach was just correcting us on leaving out Meta. Hey, Nick, you have been on the CLAC train and the AVGO train for more than a minute. What are you liking now, or do you just continue to ride what's working?
I'm riding what's working. I really don't have a whole lot of capital to really even put to work at this point. So if anything, I need to start selling down. I don't have CLAC currently, but I do have AVGO. I've got LRCX, AMD. And did I say ASML? And I got ASML. Yeah, I think for me personally, like I need to start selling down, if anything, or basically hold what I got. But
selling down, what's your thoughts on that, GP? He's got to sell some positions.
I'm not saying I want to. I'm just saying that if it would probably be
prudent.
Yeah, for sure. Just peeling a little off, not necessarily exiting positions entirely.
So on that note, not saying that we can't pull back. It's possible. We've been grinding higher for months on end. But you know what happened yesterday?
What happened
The
yesterday?
NASDAQ composite for the first time since 2021 hit all-time highs. Just saying, right? Like,
Yeah,
IXIC.
that's so that was gonna my question back as you were talking about the wall of worry. I would argue that the wall of worry was ended when that happened.
You
When we took
think?
out. Yeah. Well, I'm asking you to clarify.
No, I think that there is the perma bull camp, right?
Okay.
And I think there's the perma bear camp. And I think a lot of people in the middle think they're chasing higher and are scared, or we're one day away from a 15% drop. I think that's the middle camp, honest to God.
Sure.
yeah,
Okay.
people want that because they want to be able to get long the markets, right? Like this is not and then when that comes, no one's going to want to be long, right?
Well,
It's
I
the
mean
same
the
story over and over again. So
totally. I mean, even going back to last year, the lockout basically ended almost, I mean, well, maybe not ended, but definitely took a pause between June and what, October, November, except everybody wanted a much harder pullback than we got. So to your point, 100%, nobody, I shouldn't say nobody, not many really wanted to step into that.
yeah, and honestly, if the SPX came back to like 4,800 in a quick heartbeat, it would probably be a good buying opportunity.
Oh
Obviously, you
God,
have to
yeah.
see how it behaves when it gets there, right? And it's not some crisis, but it's trying to figure out what you want to be a part of. And ultimately, I think people are trying to call a bubble when the bubble may just be starting, right? Even like the everyone's in disbelief, and that to me still seems like a wall of worry, right?
Yeah, all
Ultimately,
right.
and
Cool.
Yep.
so so bull markets don't end like so how did 2021 end? It ended on euphoria, not fucking doubt, right? Like it ended when Beyond was at 300, when Roku was at 400, when Square was at 400. That's when it ended, right?
Yeah.
That's euphoria. That's when a bubble or a bull market or whatever you want to call it is on the verge of exiting, right? And then you have this where lots of things haven't participated, and that's the market weeding out the companies who are focusing on profitability because there's a monetary regime shift. And if you're not on it, trying to get it on a profitable target, like Carvana is a good example. Look at Carvana. It has focused on profitability and they are being rewarded. Roku refuses to focus on profitability and they're getting smoked. I'm not saying it's not going to go higher, but right now they're getting smoked, sold down because people have options to use their money wisely invested right now. It's like, why am I going to stay in a stock where the management doesn't care? And so that's my thought process here in general. And
Do
that's
you
how I
think
kind of approach some of this stuff. And one of the names that is on my radar when it comes to that kind of managements in the middle is Wayfair, right? Wayfair has, if you pull up the chart on Wayfair, the accumulation in this
I
chart
was
is,
just admiring Bitcoin. I'm sorry.
oh yeah, no worries. If you want to talk about Bitcoin, that's fine too.
No. Wayfair's good.
So Wayfair they've been accumulating Wayfair here and building this monster base. If you look at it, it's like an inverse head and shoulders. It's reclaiming the 20-week moving average, 50-week moving average, and the 200-week moving average that sits at 151. And the amount of accumulation and the amount of short interest in this name, while this company actually focuses on profitability, cutting costs, reducing OpEx, you have this potential of a monster breakout. And I know I've been talking about Wayfair since last year, but it's literally just going sideways. And so I like this. I don't know when it gets rewarded, but I really like what they've been doing here, and the chart kind of represents that.
Do you
They
think
have earnings
retail?
May 2nd, and it's just so funny. I just drew a little wedge here without knowing that, and that would be when the end of the wedge would be. So earning within the next 60 days, this is going to pop. You heard it here first.
Do you think retail mentally is suffering more from 2020 or from 2022?
2022.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
No doubt.
Wait, what was the question?
Like on a mental or psychological level, do you think the retail investor or trader is suffering more from the way that the market was behaving in 2020 or 2022?
2020.
No, see, I'm going to disagree. And the reason why is 2020, no one knew what the hell was going on. We had a black swan event that wiped out everything in a couple of weeks. And then it was just chug higher, and no one wanted to believe it. So you do have that sort of juxtaposition of, oh shit. And then all of a sudden, just that big V rally we had. I say 2022 because up until that point, all dip buying was being, blessed. And in 2022, the entire year, if you bought anything past December of 2021, there was no buying the dips and riding it out. It was just pain. And I think 2022 has more retail scared than anything else. They've witnessed 2020. Now they've gone through 2022, and it's not just buy the fucking dip and be happy with it. There's a lot of fear out there that we could still go down. And of
Sure.
course we can go down. But I think 2020 set the stage for 2022 to be much worse on the retail trader.
So if choosing between those 2 years, I still think 2020 was worse for people. The bottom was easily identifiable, in my opinion. Literally, the Fed came in and said, "We're gonna give you unlimited fucking money and go to town," right? Like, I understand there was a pandemic, but from a stock market perspective, the Fed jumped in and said, "We got your back." When the Fed jumps in and says, "Got your back," it is usually an all clear signal. That happened on March 23rd, 2020. We did not look back.
Yeah, it
So
was over. It was 4 weeks.
yeah, but so I actually think 2023 and 2024 is worse for retail because what 2020 created was this buy the V dip mentality,
Yep.
and people are trying to make that same analysis of like the 2020 V dip mentality, but also not recognizing the monetary shift, right? The monetary regime shift, in my opinion, which is when you have interest rates pushing higher or staying steady, you don't have the same V-dip mentality because you have so many different options. So people are like, well, I'm going to buy calls like a month out, and then they watch them expire, and then the move happens or whatever. Whereas like you could literally buy calls in 2020 and like 3 days later you were up like 6,000%, right? Like it's so you got trained in 2020 to have all these bad behavior traits.
That's kind of what I was thinking, the same thing.
Right. And so yeah, so that's why I think 2020 is worse because they were trained in a monetary regime that no longer exists and most likely will not exist moving forward. Right. And that's my personal opinion. I think rates can stay steady, can go a little bit down, up, but I think they're here to stay ultimately. And so if you get trained, especially 2020, but basically from 2008 to 2020, everyone's been trained for the V-shaped bottoms, right? So
Yeah.
2020 was the ultimate V-shaped bottom. And so you had all these bad habits built in to the market.
So, like 2022, like you can argue the fear, infecting a lot. But that was kind of actually the point that I was going to go was where 2020, every bit of bad behavior was forgiven, and if anything, rewarded. So it was like for the retail that was relatively new to the markets within, let's just say, the last couple of years, I'm saying within a few years of 2020, I don't know. I just it's kind of
Yeah.
a boom bam between the two of them, and I'm just like,
So
man,
I don't that's part of the reason why I say 2022 was worse
sure.
for retail, because yes, you learned bad, you know, you got away with more things in 2020, right? All you had to do was buy and just sit on it in 2020. So that did create some complacency. I mean, we had people who were afraid to buy practically that entire run, right? Like
Mhm.
there were still people waiting for a bottom retest or new lows, right? And I think the reason why I say this was worse, because it wasn't just buy and hold, right? Like if you bought and hold this, and a lot of us did hold specific things during this period, I mean, that's painful. That's mentally anguishing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And I think this was worse because every time that you tried to buy and you thought we were breaking out, right, you just got slapped back down. And that becomes so disheartening. I mean, we saw it in our podcast numbers, right? Like we were lucky to have 3 or 4 people watching us a night during, most of 2022. So I hear you creating the bad behavior and the bad, you can just buy anything. But at the same time, I think as far as being worse psychologically,
sure.
this was an incredibly hard period for a lot of people who just stayed long stocks because they were taught that they can just long stocks right here.
Sure.
So I guess you can
I mean,
potato
you could,
potato this.
yeah,
You
for
could
sure.
say this was bad because it created bad habits, but this was bad because it was actually pain for a lot of people.
So yeah, agreed. And 2020, I think, just solidified more than a decade worth of bad behavior, right?
Yeah,
In terms of the
yeah,
markets.
yeah.
So it trained you to be this way. It doesn't matter when, but Wall Street usually ends up showing people who's boss, and they did that in 2020, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And made sure, and now they're doing it now. People are just not like things are establishing basis. Things will take time to work out. This was a very crazy 4 year period. This is not going to happen in 3 days or a couple of weeks.
You shouldn't want it to. Like,
have some patience though, right? Like,
yeah. How are you gonna? I don't know. I think you should want. I guess who am I to say what you should want? I want a stair-stepping market. I want consolidation periods. I need time to build into a position.
I don't know if we've
And
gotten that either, right? In certain names we have, but other names we haven't. Like Meta's just been straight up, Nvidia straight up, AMD's been now straight up for a few months, Broadcom, SMCI, like
Well,
so
look,
you can
it's
argue
been
that we have
17 weeks since we've had consecutive red candles on the weekly. I mean, that's pretty outrageous, right?
yeah. Yeah, um I don't know. And
I mean,
that's
I'm
what I'm
I'm sure there are other moments in time where we've seen that, but that's a pretty big move from October.
it so like I viewed 2022 very similar to what the great financial crisis and was going to be until the Lehman thing happened, right? The great financial crisis was okay, we have it contained, and we're down like 35%. And that Lehman news came out and that destroyed the market, right? Like that was that second leg. We've talked about this so many times. It's like every single correction of 20, 25, 30% has the potential to be 70%, but you need that secondary catalyst. And we didn't have that secondary catalyst here. So look at what we did out of the 2009 market, right? Like that was straight up for how many weeks? For the most part.
uh,
So
It's not
that's
it's
how I
not
viewed this.
15 out of 17 weeks.
No, but what was that? Like that's irrelevant to me, 15 out of 17 weeks. It's like the stupid statement to say that NVIDIA is worth more than Canada. It's like, so is fucking Apple and Microsoft and Google. Like, it's Canada for fuck's sake, right? But it's
I don't think it's stupid, but I know you didn't mean to offend me.
no, I not that. I've just seen it by others, right? Saying, well, it's been 15 or 17 weeks. This is unsustainable, all that stuff. And so that's what I was referring to, not to you.
I know. So I
It
said
kind of
you
seems
weren't
like
saying it to offend me.
it is frustrating seeing people kind of throwing out blanket terms without any real perspective. It's like, like look at a chart. Like, what I'm saying? Like, even like looking at the cues, it's like you could say we went straight up, but did we really? I mean, we literally went
14 weeks
sideways
in a
first.
row here in December or fall winter of 2019. That's about the nearest I can find just glancing here. Sorry, Nick, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no. No, you're good.
Yeah. And so it uh, I think for me, it's the indices can do whatever they want. Ultimately, I'm looking at the setups underneath, and the setups underneath still like TLT, a good example, bonds, right? Rejecting the declining 50 SMA, holding and hammering back to back to back. We got the 20 SMA. This stuff is going, in my opinion, based on the chart, it's going higher. IWM breaking out of a 2-year consolidation, just starting here.
Yeah,
Looks great.
just starting.
Looks great. It'll release over 206. Looks awesome.
So will you have the indices maybe come down a bit and stuff like that? Yes, but does that mean the setups underneath won't work? I'm in the camp that they still will, but so I'm not really focused on that as much.
While I was admiring Bitcoin, hey, we're at 62.6 right now. Nick, you still hating on Bitcoin?
No,
No?
no.
You long a bunch of coins? You got a bunch of sats?
I'm not. I got Ethereum. That's it.
There you
I
go.
was in and out of Riot and Mara. Eventually got chopped out of Riot. Did well with Mara. I still own Coin and Hood though. So
For everyone wanting to know when it's altcoin season, let's wait until Bitcoin dominance gets somewhere up here in the 58, 59, close to 60%. Just if you're watching, that's just a little dropping a little jewel for you. If you pick it up, great for you.
wait, say that again.
Altcoin season will
Oh,
start once Bitcoin dominance, which is Bitcoin market cap versus all other coins market cap, closer to 60%. I would say 58, 59, but it could reach 60% dominance.
okay, right on.
And then it'll be shitcoin season.
Yeah, the Bitcoin move is wild.
Is it? Is it though? Is it wild?
I mean, just to see an asset or like an investment vehicle, trading at $62,000, like it just, I don't know. It's just kind of
How many
different to
weeks
me, I guess.
ago did all the ETFs get approved?
When was that? Was that two or three?
Yeah, I
It was
think it
longer
was.
than that.
I think it was right around here. So like 4 or 5 weeks ago. I think it was in the January.
Like, I don't think that was a type of. I think people believe that is a sell the news type event.
It was not.
I 100% agree. I agree. I'm like, it's like a stock. The amount of investors that now have access to it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in total agreement with you. I don't think it was a sell the news type
It
thing
was
at all.
not. It was not. If anything, I just created more adoption, which for
Yeah.
bulls is a very positive thing.
Yeah. Definitely. What's on your guys' radar? Anything standing out that
Well,
you're maybe not currently in but watching?
no, I'm not looking to get long anything currently. I'm long the positions I want to be long. I know GP is a more active trader than I am, but I've done well just letting things work.
Sure.
Yeah, so I like Wayfair. I've talked about it. I think give it a couple months and this is going to be much higher. There's also Tesla, which is starting to show change of character. I believe it's reclaiming the 9 SMA here on the week, by the way. And I love it. Like everyone was talking about the monthly candle and had pretty much kind of given up. And now it's pulling in a bullish momentum. It's got accumulation here on the week. It's trying to show. So Tesla, I'd be on watch here for a potential move higher. It's been shit sandwiched between a pile of a crap too. But things change over time, right? Trends change over weeks, and so it's something to pay attention to. Roblox I like here as well. Carvana continues to beast. I like the 20 week holds here, right? This is what we weren't seeing in 2022. We break down from the 20, like we'd reject the 20-week moving average. Things are now holding the 20-week moving average one by one, right? Like even if you look at Shop is holding the 20-week moving average. Like it got sold off of a top, but it's holding the 20-week moving average. Things that did not happen in 2022 are happening technically. So it's stuff that you gotta pay attention to. Amazon as well. It's still beasting, all-time high close on the monthly yesterday. It's something that looks. Apple, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter to the markets, but I have a feeling that Apple's tune will change soon enough. There's stuff that you gotta. Is Apple the canary in the coal mine? Maybe it is, but do they have like what $160 billion in cash? So I don't know how big a canary it's gonna be. I like FedEx.
What about Net and Datadog?
Long net from way back.
These are all names that are sitting at the top of the range, and they're using calls to kind of keep it down, right? They're selling calls against it with where the markets are. So
Guilty.
I have seen today, especially, it looks like they're closing out some of the calls in some of these names. So maybe that unleashes the lead. The lid. But yeah, app is another one that looks great.
Yeah, it does.
App loving.
Right, inside week hammer up through the top of the base here. It's like the room to this is 77-ish. So there's a lot of stuff that looks great underneath, right? Besides the overall markets being extended.
Yeah.
Our friend Jason T Stomp wants to know about IDEX Laboratories. Nick loves it. There you go. That's all you need.
I mean, I just like expensive stocks, so
get you some IDEX.
Yeah, it's kind of like I like these patterns kind of like up at the highs, like it because how IDX is shaping up right here looks very similar to the IWM in the sense that I think it was Mark Minervini has coined the term the volatility contraction pattern, the VCP, and it IDXX looks a lot like the IWM in that sense to me. That the volatility is contracting up here at highs is what you want to see before it breaks out.
It looks good. I mean, to me, it's already made its move. It flagged right up below resistance, right? And we want to see it either flag above or right below resistance for its next move. It pushed through. It wicked off this week. Look, to me, it looks good. I mean, Stoke's a little bit hot, but with moves, you're going to expect that to be a little hot because it's faster. but I mean, from a technical aspect, it looks pretty good.
Jason, just throwing it out there, generally speaking, if I'm trading in stocks that are pretty expensive, a lot of the time I don't necessarily use pivots to set stops. I'll typically just pull up the weekly ATR and either one or two exit. It's kind of a sloppy way to trade, but at the same time, it keeps my size a little bit smaller on more expensive stocks, if that makes sense to you. Just throwing it out there.
Mike
Mara.
Jones asked Mara. I mean, look at that move. I think Jason T Stock got in a whole bunch, like in the teens, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. Is that right, Jason? You can confirm that, but it looks great.
Yeah,
Bitcoin crypto is going to go higher. Miners are going to go higher.
I think today was your ad versus the 20-day. You could probably throw a stop under. If it was me, I'd have a stop under 20.
Any hope for Rivian? I've got to own Rivian. I've been a Rivian champion for a while. And there's no sugarcoating. That was a really bad quarter report. That was a very, 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 very bad, not good ER. To me, it's got to get back up here into the 12s and 13s and start basing. Because if not, it could just wind up like a lot of these other EV names and just keep going down. So I'm still long, painfully long, and yeah, until it shows that it can get back up here and start basing again. For me, it's a do not touch. But I would be interested in your guys' take.
Yeah, it's not my kind of trade.
I was hoping that this week it would reclaim that 1168 mark. It hasn't. Looking at the flow as we were talking here, it looks like they're selling 15 calls for January and buying 15 calls and selling the 10, which means, and there was a big activity in the October 10s a couple weeks ago before earnings, which I think they rolled down to the 750. So as of now, it's a do not touch, do not do anything. And if it breaks earnings low candle on the week, it's probably time to get out.
Yep, I agree 1,000% with that assessment. At some point, you want to see it back up into the range and to at least create a base or gather those moving averages. But until then, it's very risky at this point. This is not like Sentinel One when they had that huge drop back in the summer. That was a one-time fluke type of thing. The way they were reporting financials, and they owned it immediately and fixed how they did that. And the next quarter was just fine. So this is not a mistake. They are slowing. Well, they're going to keep pace with 2023 production and not produce any more trucks. So it's a tough spot right now for Rivian to be in. But hey, if Tesla were able to skyrocket higher and Rivian can just tread water, I think that would still be positive for Rivian. But at that point, you may as well just own Tesla.
Yeah, Rivian's also getting access to supercharger network, which may bring in more buyers. So stuff to keep. I think that starts this month, and so that's stuff to keep in sight. But the flow is so bearish on Rivian.
The saving grace was Amazon still has a lot more trucks to take on. That's the saving grace, and that's actually the more profitable part of the business right now than the consumer trucks. So that's the saving grace, but at the same time, if they're not selling consumer trucks, that's a bigger issue. So there you go. Rivian, nothing really to look at on the chart other than it looks like crap. But from a fundamental standpoint, very challenged at the time. Doesn't mean it's not good for a trade up or down. I mean, you can trade anything up or down, but to hold long, yeah, it's kind of painful. And I don't disagree with GP at all. If it were to lose $10, it's gonna be pain, more pain.
When are we
Yeah,
going
we can
over
do it,
our
right?
quarterly picks?
That's coming up at the end of the month, right? With Cookie, or we can get Cookie scheduled whenever we want to.
Was it? No. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know when we said we were gonna look at it. I forgot.
I wrote it down somewhere here on my messy desk.
While you're looking for that, Disney looks great on the weekly. I don't know if anyone's
March
watching.
31st.
March 31st. Okay.
Yeah, BlackRock looks amazing to me too.
So we can look at those real quick. Our picks, if you guys want to. So Nick went with United Rentals and fabulous 700. Nick already got your
700.
price target. Look at that.
I know.
GP, you teed that up because you knew that.
Maybe.
Teed that up perfectly. So Nick, congratulations. You hit your price target for the quarter. GP had AAP $82 almost, and I am really bad with Freshly. That was not a great outcome there for Freshly. It doesn't oh, that's Fastly. Where's there it is, Fresh.
I like how it looks. I like that wedge into the 200 day on the daily at least.
I had the good fortune to pick this right before it skyrocketed higher, but it's sort of just treaded water since, so it's actually down a little bit. And then of course Cookie, who we're going to have to take umbrage with his 3x leverage ETFs, just blowing it away.
What did he go with?
Soxel was at 26.11 when we started this exercise, so right about there, and it's only up 87%.
Jesus. Well,
Yeah, only up 87%. But Nick, you're up. Let's see, GP, your price was 57.08, so we'll say right about there, and you're currently at 19 plus percent. URI we had at 505.14. Man, Nick, that's a hell of a call.
you know what my average price in URI is right now?
And you're up about 38%. What was your average price?
My average price now is $5.55.55, and then it goes 6.7.
It's pretty good.
I don't know how it turned out that way, but it did.
We had Palo Alto on here because this was one that GP wanted to short way back when.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi calls really made this one bounce.
The moves come. I might just be delayed on the time frame.
It's always time frame. Always time frame. Hey, since we have a month left in our quarterly challenge, do we want to add something to short? Because that's about the same time period that we did.
That's like a
first time.
I think Boeing.
GBA?
Boeing.
Yeah, that's a good.
How about we say we come back and revisit this Monday during our regular show?
Yeah, let's do that.
That gives us the weekend to say what do we want to short for the rest of the month to hopefully get some gains.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
But yeah, I'll wait till Monday.
All right. Perfect. So we'll look for a short. I'm not inviting Cookie to this party though. 2053 was I'm underwater now. 2053 was the buy point on Fresh. So we're down like less than 4%.
What is
Sweet.
VLTO?
I don't know. What is VLTO, Randy? Is that a new Victoria's Secret sub brand or something? Weekly cup and handle-ish on a
Yeah.
IPO chart.
Pollution control. Oh, damn. Develops technology solutions for access to clean water, safe food and medicines, and verifiable essential goods.
Sounds expensive as a business.
Dude, thanks for putting this on my. Hey,
Danaher spinoff. Got it. DHR.
Ooh.
Danaher looks pretty good.
I like DHR too.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Somebody else had one. VL. Oh, that was Randy. So did I miss somebody from SLQT? SLQT. What is SLQT? Select quote. No clue what this is. $2 stock. I mean, it's popping. I have no idea what they are. They're in finance, multi-line insurance. No clue. But if it can push up here, you probably got a 250, 260 banger on your hand, maybe. It's pretty good.
Speaking of
Volume.
insurance, did you see that that move in LMND?
LMND. Lemonade. And then it got sold off.
Yeah. Oh, damn. I don't know that, but if anybody saw it, we're paying attention to it.
I know a lot of people like lemonade, but it's not my cup of tea. Not my type of thing.
We can talk about biotechs finally.
It's holding the moving average. Yeah, we can talk about XBI. That
How much
looks
was that?
like a breakout.
Struggling at the 200-week flat moving average. So
Got the 200-week on there. Yep. Good eyes, GP.
But double bottom consolidation breakout, right? Like this is the underneath I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the underneath, maybe the indices can do whatever they want, but there's so many names that are starting to work, right?
It's probably time to really kind of focus in on like IWM and find as many ETFs or sectors that have been base building.
Yeah, so personally, I'd be looking at MDY versus IWM. I think we talked about this before. This is mid caps, right? These
MDY.
MDY, yep. Right? How much better does that look? Because mid caps probably weather the storm better than small caps. So small caps can definitely break out, but mid caps will probably do better, right? Overall. So MDY is where I'd be looking first, and then
Sure.
As we've seen, the stair stepping of different participation groups. So large caps brought us here, mid caps next, small caps finally, right? So and small caps and mid caps usually go hand in hand, so they'll probably both go together, but just something to keep aware of.
I like MDY, GP. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, no problem. So you want to look for names that make up the MDY, right? And look at the charts and see what's the right call there. But the MDY index is one that it looks like IYT. It looks like a lot of things that are ready for the next leg higher.
How is ARKK down today? Tesla? Tesla's green.
TDOC most likely because it's Kathy.
She owns a crap ton of it. I guess.
Tesla's green, so why would it be down?
Yeah, I know. Coin's green, which is now a huge position.
Where's green?
Yeah, I don't know. That's
ROKU's
why I was asking. I just saw it in the side panel over here, and I'm like, why is that down? Why is that red today? Anywho,
And Kathy looks like she's gonna break out.
yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. All the Kathy evangelists didn't have a great 21 or 22.
No, but when you buy T-Doc as like, as your saving grace, there's not much you can do about that.
True that. Hey, anybody
I
in the
like
chat?
this.
You got some
If
other
any,
charts? Sorry,
oh,
Nick.
I was just to say this. This MDY. I just pulled up the list. There's a lot of good looking names in it already.
Yep.
Give me your top 5 out of it, Nick. Go.
I like ODFL and SAIA the most.
ODFL, Old Dominion Freight Line.
NBIX is on there. I like that monthly chart.
MBIX?
NBIX.
NBIX.
Yeah, I like the monthly almost probably more than anything. Let's see what else. Oh, interactive. I haven't looked at.
Interactive Brokers is ripping.
Oh, yeah. Darn it. That looks great.
IBKR.
Yeah. GoDaddy too on fire.
Go Daddy.
Breaking
But
out
it's
of look
so
up.
it's not just AI names. I guess that's my point. Look at UNP too, right? UNP breakout retest, right? On the weekly breakout and
Yeah.
retest. And so this is railroads. You're seeing general increased participation across the board. Sorry, I'll keep saying it, but I'm not trying to be, not mocking anyone, but I think do the work, right? Is what I will preach forever and ever and ever. Do the work, look at the charts underneath, spend time versus regurgitating headlines that say it's the AI bubble. Right? Let's talk about cost. Let's talk about Wingstop. Let's talk about Texas Roadhouse. Let's talk about so many different names.
Wingstop is just fabulous. I want to get some wings tonight. That's what I'm going to have for dinner. Thanks,
Yeah, you know what?
GP.
I am too.
You should
What
also
flavor
throw
we
in
get,
Texas.
Nick?
You should also throw in some good old fashioned American barbecue because Texas Roadhouse is sitting right there. And when you're done, throw in some burritos because CMG is going nuts too. Right? Might as well have a big cheat day.
Kava. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
are paying attention to Kava.
Kava, Shack, just do the participation.
Oh my
broadening.
goodness. I lost track of Shaq. Oh,
The participation is broadening.
you know, something that a lot of people I think would really benefit them is like either Google or find a book on like the post EPS drift trade in particular. It's a super easy trade and a super easy entry. You're just looking for names that are, popping on an EPS announcement and then using the high and the low as your risk. Because a lot of times it's just going to drift, kind of like what Shaq is doing. I mean, it's not drifting sideways as much as it is upwards, but it's an easy trade, but it's a really boring trade, I should say.
Rachel, we looked at Mara. Looks fabulous. Bitcoin goes higher, it goes higher. Krus, Krus. Krus sushi.
Ooh, I like
sushi sounds good too. What flavor of wings we getting tonight, Nick?
I'm gonna go
Come on, man.
I'll probably just stick with like a barbecue.
All right.
My favorite flavor ever was down in Scottsdale. They have a restaurant called Zips. It's just like a chain restaurant, but they had this flavor called the golden medium. I can't find it anywhere up here in the Midwest, but
yeah, the Midwest is not a big place for wings.
no.
Nick, do you go boneless or bone in?
Bone in.
All right. I was getting ready to disown you if you had said boneless.
Yeah, rightfully, for sure.
KRUS, Kura Sushi.
Yeah, that looks. Oh, I type in CRUS. Sorry, I like CRUS. KRUS. Yeah, it looks. The weekly and the monthly look pretty good. Well, the daily looks good too, actually. It's just thin. Really thin. Hmm.
We
Carvana.
got 90 seconds left of the trading session.
Yeah.
Let's
Nice
check
Carvana
in.
move today too. Nice post earnings moves. It's just things are consolidating and going. Yep, look at Carvana.
Yeah, looks great. Looks great. Can't wait to short it. What is CarMax doing? I looked at CarMax. I mean, it's probably bounced with it. Yeah.
As we're on this call, I saw someone sold 40,205 Tesla calls for next week. Just throwing it out there.
Repeat that again.
40,205 calls for next week were sold. They are no longer on Thinkorswim, but I captured the screenshot. 42,080 were sold for next week.
Thoughts on AI? It has a very bullish chart.
Very good earnings report finally.
And that should portend good for Path. You would think.
Should. Path, which has been sideways for quite some time.
Path's coming up, I think, the 11th or 12th, 13th of March for its earnings date. So we will see. But I can't imagine it would be. Well, I can imagine it would be bad, but I would think it would be good. CTVA for Randy. Cape Verde tourist arrivals. What the hell is going on there, Ben? CTVA?
I think this is you could use that post EPS drift.
Or Teva?
Randy's Pave is doing really well, by the way. I'm not sure if he's still on that, Randy.
Randy's amazing. Randy drops little jewels every week in the chat.
So, Randy, I would just use the 50-day as your guide, as my guide.
PLMR for Marion.
What is PM? What?
Palomar Holdings. Finance Property Casualty Insurance. I would probably just see if it broke higher out of that.
That's definitely flagging.
Yeah, it's flagging up there right under resistance. So not a bad look, but you want to see it release above that.
77.50-ish.
Yeah, you want to see it do that and not that.
Interesting.
Jason, CPRT. Copart. I think Jason brought this one up before.
Beauty.
Breaking out.
Very strong.
Breaking out, breaking out.
Very strong.
Do not sell.
Yeah, I'm kicking myself for selling my DELL. I'll tell you that right.
Tell me about it.
Man.
I was gonna mention DELL earlier, but
Just a casual 32% move. But DELL, same space as SMCI, so I completely missed that they were having earnings. Otherwise, would have definitely tried to get some long options on that.
Yeah.
SMCI was the number one holding in that mid cap ETF.
Yep.
That's because it's grown so much.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for them to kick it out of the IWM. Maybe that's when it goes.
Yeah, that was painful for me to look at, actually. Risk of the upside, right?
The only pat on my back that I've given myself is anything I have sold, I have quickly put that cash to work in other various positions that I have. Otherwise, I'd probably still be crying that I sold DELL.
Got to. That's going to keep going too.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that volume. That's going to keep going. That's not retail buying that.
No.
No.
95 million shares in a week. That's not retail positioning.
Dude, look at Mew. Like all these 1999.com names coming back full force.
Which one, GP?
Mew?
MU.
Mew.
Yeah. Monkey Banana Genius has been all over MU. There's only
IBM.
one
It's the return of 99.
flagging up there for IBM. Could IBM really break out like this? Could this happen?
It's going to. It's,
Could
look at the
this
base.
happen?
Look at that base.
Holy cow.
Look at that base. It's a matter of time. Only 24 years in the making.
That we. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Looks awesome.
You know, the other one that has been on my radar because it hasn't made new highs, but definitely broke the downtrend with a lot of force. GE.
Holy cow. Sorry, VRT from Marion.
Yeah, it's
Nick,
the
were you in Vertiv?
SMCI.
That's crazy. It's a wild move.
Every time I looked at GE, I'm going to put GE in the DELL category because those are tough. I think those are tough. If you're an active trader, GE would have been a very difficult hold, I think, or a difficult to maybe build into a position. Just basically ride in the 20-day for almost a year.
Yeah, just straight up.
Like,
Kyndryl. That's the IBM spinoff. This is IBM is now Red Hat. Or sorry, yes, IBM is the company Red Hat now, and Kyndryl is the former IBM, basically.
You sing when Mike like so
do you think VRT just started? Where do you think it's heading?
VRT became a FinTwit name after the SMCI conversation. So I don't think it's just starting, but can it continue higher? Yeah.
Time frame.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, would you be surprised to see this go to 100? No.
No.
Right?
No.
No, what goes to this level usually goes to 100.
Right. So
Right. Look, remember Square, right? Square was the same back when it was. It went straight to 100 and then stopped. Literally like
Oh,
dead
that
stop.
whole
Dead stop at 100.
sector. Randy, your BWXT is in the same category as Vert, along with like Powell, AZZ. You still holding your BWXT?
this is another one that Randy gave us.
Yeah.
Randy just dropping jewels. Hey, if you don't like what we have to say, just come for the commentary for Randy in the chat. I mean, pick a stock that he mentions and just buy it.
Can we talk about our Weight Watchers short person? Who was that? I can't remember who it was, but good job. Oprah resigned from the board. She's like, I'm on Ozempic. I don't want to be part of Weight Watchers.
It's actually had an up week, but
I
I
know.
remember Twilio had an up week when their CEO resigned too, and it has done nothing but go down since. Actually, it's up a little bit this week, but yeah, sometimes CEO sign resigning.
Epitome of management who doesn't give two shits.
Yeah. Yep, that was a great short by them.
Yeah,
LYB.
Live Nation. Damn, yeah, that does look good.
Yep.
All the consumer names look great.
What was it Sphere? I haven't looked at that one. What was the ticker for Sphere?
Oh, I don't know.
SPHR.
SPHR, that's what it was.
That place is incredible.
Ooh, damn.
Very popular pick. A,
I mean,
B.
just look at the XLY. We're talking about consumer, right?
Yeah. But XRT as well. That's retail just breaking out.
Retail.
Just starting its breakout. It's a cent.
What a great little surprise we've had today with closing the trading week with a little pod. It makes me very happy. I missed you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry about Monday. We were traveling and we got back late and your boy was cashed out. So but it was great to be with the family for the weekend. So that was great. The boys loved it. And happy to be back home. Happy to be chatting with you guys. We're going to do this again Monday night, right?
I'll be there.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Bring your shorts.
Yeah, we got to figure out our shorts. I wrote myself a note in red Sharpie. Shorts.
Just choose Boeing and you'll be happy.
Well, you're choosing Boeing, it sounds like.
No,
What
I'm
if
not.
I decided to short my long? Would that be a net zero then?
No, I think time frames matter.
Nick, I missed you. I'm glad you're back.
I'm too.
Can't wait to have many more weeks of discussing market things with you and GP. Even though you offended me a couple times during today's podcast, I love you and I forgive you. I know you didn't mean it toward me, but it stung a little bit. I just had to get that off my chest.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I apologize.
No,
That's
I'm messing with you. You didn't.
not my intentions ever.
You didn't offend me. I was just trying to make you feel bad for a second.
No, those are just words that are coming out of my mouth. I actually don't feel bad.
Ah, what an asshole!
All right, guys.
Sorry, Marion with the hot take to end it. I know this will catch backlash, but short KRE. Regional banks. All right. Last March they didn't have a great time, so we'll see. All right, but thank you, boys. Thanks for being here, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Thanks everybody in the chat. Thanks for all the new subscribers.
It closed right on the weekly 20, by the way. KRE.
Yep, held
the rising 20.
Yep. It's a standoff, Marion. You and GP.
No, I got no position in it. I could care
no
less.
position. All right, but it held. That's what
I could care less. I look at this because I want to get a gauge of where other overall markets are. Could care less if regional banks crash. I think if you look at banks in general, XLF, that doesn't look that looks pretty good.
Love you guys. Love everybody in the chat. Please
Have a great weekend.
Tell a friend, tell a friend. Have a great weekend. I'm going to be blowing up charts this weekend. Yeah.
We didn't talk about XLE or gold. We can save that for Monday.
Yes.
Oh, gold, some gold, We're going to talk about gold again, huh? All right. Look forward to that. Gold and a whole
Maybe that's the short.
Monday, 8 p.m. Appreciate you guys. Thanks everyone for dropping in, stopping by. All love.